What is up, Chasethatcoin family? Shaka Daniel here, aka Chase That Coin, and you are now tuned into the Chase That Coin channel. Today, we have a lot to discuss, so I'm going to give it a few seconds, maybe a minute or so. Let's get some live viewers in here. Okay, we got a couple, and we'll get into it once we get a few live viewers. For those of you out there, please share this link out, tweet this link out, Facebook, all that good stuff. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button for those of you who aren't subscribed yet. And I'll give it a few seconds to get some live viewers before we take off. Kenneth Bozak, yes, we are live. Darren Sammy, hello. Hello. All right, we got a couple live viewers. Let's us get straight into it. The first thing I want to talk about today, guys, is the sea of red within the altcoin markets. Today was a very interesting day. Altcoins were down a lot at one point. But they pulled back pretty nicely. Now, most of them are down about 5%. Earlier, a lot of them were down big. Gollum was down 25%. Most of them were down about between 10 and 25%. But that created a lot of good buying opportunities for people who, as Adam Meister would say, have strong hands. And once upon a time, that wasn't existent within the altcoin market. It was just, buy in today, it goes up tomorrow, sell off, and then that coin would be down for a long period of time. Now, the altcoin community is growing as a whole, even though, certain altcoins have a much better more vibrant, more active community. The way that people group it, it's, Bitcoin or altcoin. So let's just stick with that trend for now. So yeah, the altcoin holders are gaining much stronger hands. Two factors that could decrease the price of altcoins. It could have either been the fact that Bitcoin is above $1,400 and people were repositioning their holdings, selling off their positions and trying to get into Bitcoin because they think Bitcoin is going to break out. Or it could be the fact that Gnosis went live today on Poloniex and Bittrex and has about $13 million in 24-hour value. And mind you, it hasn't even been out for 24 hours yet. So really, that's like $13 million in an 8-hour span. So the people who bought into Gnosis ICO already doubled their money. The valuation for the ICO was a little too rich for my blood. It was about between $30 and $35 a coin was the evaluation. I think it was 31 or 32 exactly, but I'm going to say between 30 and 35. So that was a little bit too rich for my blood. So I did not get into it, especially with something like an Augur having the first movers advantage. Well, technically they don't have the first movers advantage because you can't do anything with Augur, really. But they did release their coin first. So the fact that Augur has the first movers advantage somewhat, and the fact that the Gnosis ICO was a little bit too rich for my blood. Made me stay out of Gnosis. But on launch day, Gnosis it doubled in price from the launch, and it's really shocking to me that it doubled in price, because usually when this ICO wasn't overbought, all right, because they only sold a very limited amount of tokens. I think they sold like 500,000 or 400,000 tokens. So the ICO wasn't overbought; it was just overvalued. But usually when an ICO is overbought or the valuation is really high, it is hard for the ICO to grow quickly past that price. But Gnosis broke that trend. I'm not sure if it's because people really think that prediction markets are a really good idea. I'm not sure if it's because of that, or I'm not sure if it's because people they missed out on Augur and they're just looking for possibly the next best thing or something that could be better. All right. So let's quickly look at coin market cap. Get into a screen share because that's always fun. All right. So this sea of red that I was talking about, as we can see, Pivx is down 7%, Zcash down 4%. All right. This was a lot. These coins were down much more. Decred is still down about the same amount. You see how these were down 7%, 4%, 5%. Earlier, most of these coins were down. All of these were 10%, 10%, 10%, 10%. Gollum, where's Gollum at? It's a little higher, right? Okay. Gollum was down, I think, about 25% or 20%. So Gollum snapped back really well. And that's just a proof and a testament to people are taking altcoins a lot more seriously now. Before it was just, let me jump in and make some money. I still think it's a strong presence of that, but I do think that people are taking altcoins much more seriously, and they're looking at holding them for longer periods of time, the same way that people are doing and would do with Bitcoin. All right, so let's look at Gnosis. $75. All right, this is really insane to me. But you can't argue with the market. This is what the market is valuing the price at. And if we look at Poloniex has $10 million, and Bittrex has 1/10 of that. All right. So we all know Poloniex is the king exchange as far as altcoins. Some people may say it's because they have a better interface. Some people say because Bittrex adds a lot of shit coins, or I'm not exactly sure why, but Poloniex is the king exchange, and Poloniex has a lot of the value. A third reason that Gnosis probably pumped so hard is because of the Poloniex ad. All right. A Poloniex ad, if for those of you who are newer to cryptocurrencies and aren't aware, Poloniex ads, when Poloniex adds a coin, the coin usually does very, very well. All right. So that's why, a lot of people in certain cryptocurrency communities are filling out. There's an application, or there's a form that you can fill out. And I'm assuming if a lot of people fill this form out, and send it to Poloniex. Poloniex will possibly consider adding the coin. So I get a lot of people emailing me all kind of forms to fill out for these different altcoins and stuff like that. And the reason is because they know once the coin gets added to Poloniex, the chances of it increasing in volume a lot is very high. All right. And that's because Poloniex is very liquid. A lot of traders are on Poloniex. A lot of people, a lot of traders haven't even ever heard of Bittrex. I've talked to a few people who have never even heard of Bittrex. All right. So let's go back to the list. But like I was saying, a lot of these coins were down big. Decred didn't bounce back as much. Dogecoin didn't bounce back as much as the others. A lot of these coins were down a lot. All right. BitConnect, which I am not too fond of. I would say that it looks like it's slowing down, but it looks like people are trying to get the last hurrah from BitConnect. A day or two ago, this was about $200,000. So it basically doubled in 24-hour volume. And like I said the other day, maybe I'm being too harsh on BitConnect. I don't know. But one thing I do know is when you see smoke, there's fire somewhere. So that's all I'm going to say about that. But a lot of these coins were down lots. And a lot of them have snapped back very well. All right. For those who invested in the Leica ICO, you made a good profit. You almost made 3 times your money on that. All right. So the altcoin market and altcoin holders are starting to get, as Adam Meister would say, strong hands. I personally think, like I said, I am a Bitcoin maximalist to a level, to a certain degree. I am not a 10th degree black belt like a Tone Vase. And if I would have to give Adam Meister a degree and a black belt of Bitcoin maximalism, I would give him maybe a 6. I'm not that high of a Bitcoin maximalist, but I do have a level of Bitcoin maximalism to me. But I am open to other cryptocurrencies. I do own other cryptocurrencies. I do talk about other cryptocurrencies. And if a cryptocurrency is a good idea to me, I will investigate into it and I may possibly take a position. But the cryptocurrency market is gaining more and more legitimacy. And mainstream news outlets are starting to talk about ICOs. Yeah, so that can lead to a bubble. After the bubble pops, it will most likely settle down for a little bit, but the interest, the thought of ICOs in the minds of the people will still be there, and in the minds of investors will still be there. So the potential for it to retest this all-time high that altcoins are going through right now is very likely. The next thing I want to talk about, and possibly the last, is because yesterday's video was way too long. I just got on a rant, because things like the Billion Coin and a lot of these sketchy, scammy things that are taking advantage of people in third world countries because they're looking for actual ways to control their money and to use their money in different ways. These things make me upset. So I just had to get that off my chest. So The billion coin, if you're out there sharing and signing people up to the billion coin, you should be ashamed of yourself. But yeah, like I said, the next and possibly last thing that I want to talk about is a link that I was reading, a article or whatever you want to call it, that I was reading on Reddit. And I don't know if this is real, I don't know if it's fake, but it's about a guy who had 70 Bitcoins stolen from him by a friend. All right. And the reason I want to talk about this is because things like this are, even if this is not true, things like this are going to start happening in the future, especially as more and more people learn about Bitcoin. Right now, if one of your friends stumbled upon your 12-word passphrase to your wallet, it's very likely that they wouldn't even know what it is. They would just think that it's 12 random words on a piece of paper. All right. But as time goes on and people start to learn that Bitcoin wallets have keys, at least good Bitcoin wallets, people have keys to these wallets, and the keys can be 12 or 24 words, random words. You're gonna have to store and secure these keys to your wallet much better. So uh, a brief description of what happened to the guy. The guy, for whatever reason, I don't know why, but he had his 12-word key to his Electrum wallet in his actual physical wallet. Somehow, I don't know why he would do that. That is a terrible idea. I've come close to losing my wallet so many times. That's not a good idea, guy, if you ever see this. But he left his wallet at his friend's house. And, when you get into Bitcoin, people get excited about Bitcoin and they want to tell people. I went through that phase as well 2 years ago. The only people I talk to about Bitcoin most of the time is you guys. Now, sometimes I go out and do contracts. Like today, I went out and did a contract, and I did a lot of welding today. And the guys in my the other union welders, sometimes they talk about Bitcoin. They're like, they're having their own conversations about Bitcoin, and then I chime in. But I don't go out and talk to people about Bitcoin anymore. I'm done with that. But I went through that phase of when I first got into Bitcoin. I was telling everybody. I told my mom. I told all my friends. I told everybody. And people were just looking at me like I was crazy. Like, what? So I'm guessing he told his friend about it. And from him continuously telling his friend and like showing his friend, like, look, this is what it is, da da da. He probably showed the friend how much Bitcoin that he had, and the friend went on some kind of forum and was asking people how could he steal the Bitcoins from his friend without his friend actually knowing. All right. So he took the key, the private key, out of his friend's wallet, copied it down, and then put it back in his friend's wallet. So until he actually took the Bitcoins, the friend wouldn't know any better. All right. Until he goes to check his wallet one day and his friend makes another wallet, opens up an account with that wallet, restores the keys onto that specific device, and then transfers the Bitcoin over. So as time goes on and as Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies become more popular, it is going to be very important that you store your Bitcoin private keys properly. All right, properly and safely. The thing that I recommend you all to do is get something called a crypto steal. All right. It is a metal device and that you can put your cryptocurrency passphrases into, and it's abbreviations of each word. All right. And they have a piece of paper to show you, how how you would abbreviate a certain type of word. The crypto steel is fireproof. It's electric proof. It's this and it's that proof. That's one way. Another way is to, I always write down my Bitcoin private keys twice, always, in two separate places. And when I do store these Bitcoin private keys, I do not let people around. All right. I do not let anyone around. There is no reason for me to show anybody. I do show some of my friends like little smaller hot wallets that I have with a few Bitcoin in there. I'll show them that. But that is very few and far between that I do that. But just store your Bitcoin private keys safely. Maybe you want to get a safe deposit box and put one copy in there or something. But no matter how you choose to do it safely, and uh, don't underestimate what people will do to get those Bitcoins. All right. Because this isn't like $50,000. If you have $50,000 in your house and it's just, under your bed or whatever, your $50,000 is always going to be $50,000. All right. These are Bitcoins. These are scarce. This is a whole new technology, a revolutionary technology. All right. And this goes for crypto. This goes for altcoins and as well. All right. These things are scarce, digital scarcity. All right. And not only are they scarce, they can go up in value. All right. And people are learning about Bitcoins and different things and altcoins, and they're seeing how much they can go up in value. And then they're seeing a lot of smart people like Sir Richard Branson, Bill Gates, John McAfee, and others talk about the potential and how high the price of Bitcoin or altcoins can go. So that it's more tempting for someone to steal your Bitcoins or your altcoins than it would be for them to just steal cash from you. All right. So before we wrap this one up, I'm going to check the chat box, see what you guys are talking about. What's up, James Bond? James Bond says I should start my own ICO on Ethereum asset and sell to the general public and get rich quick. You will make millions. That is very possible that if I start my own coin, I can probably make a lot of money because of the way that people are just willing to take the risk to just. I know people that their strategy of investing in altcoins is to put a little bit in everything, no matter what it is. Every ICO, they're going to put a little bit in. That's an insane strategy to me, but I know people that's their strategy. Bubble Bash says, keep that 12-word code in a fireproof safe. Yes. Yes. And even if you don't have a fireproof safe, if you just have a normal safe, I'm assuming that most safes are fire resistant, at least up to an hour or so, maybe 2 hours. But the crypto steel, it will not burn. Or Trezor, you can have a password. Yes, we all know Trezor, Ledger, Keep Key. I forget the other one that you can do with the fingerprint scan. That one is a little pricey, but it has its own it has its own internet signal, so you could actually travel with that one and don't have to plug it in. That's cool about it. What else are you guys talking about? Boss lady, what's up? what you can say about Emmercoin. Emmercoin, I've heard of it. Wasn't that isn't that one of the coins that was on that's on Microsoft, the Azure, whatever it's called? Emmercoin, Radium. There's a couple of them. That's all I really know about it. I don't know. I know that it's been holding within the top 50 pretty strong for a long period of time. I know that. What do I think about SegWit activation on Nav? Blockstream Tralala Tralala says, "What do I think about SegWit activation on Nav?" Blockstream doesn't hold any patents to SegWit, so any cryptocurrency can activate SegWit, but it's really dependent on the community. All right, if this coin doesn't have a lot of traffic, a strong community, then it's just going to be another level on top of a coin that no one really uses. Nav, a lot of people do talk about Nav though, and it is within the privacy sector. So if Nav could get the wheels rolling, then that possibly will pump the price of Nav. Reading. I'm reading, guys. I'm trying to find some good stuff. Any thoughts on Ledger Nano S? I personally do not own a Ledger Nano S, but I have gifted Ledger Nano S's to two of my friends. They don't have any bad things to say about it, so I'm going to say that it is a solid wallet. The only bad thing that I've ever heard about Ledger Nano S, and I'm gonna say that it wasn't Ledger's fault, is when Trayvon lost 3 Bitcoins on his Ledger, but that wasn't Ledger's fault. So I haven't heard anything bad from Ledger yet. Yanni, what's up, Yanni? I cannot read that name because it's not in English, but he says, what do you think, or which cryptocurrency doubled? I'm going to assume you mean in May. I do not like when people ask me things like that. Uh, Not that I don't know. When people ask me things like that, it just makes me want to do something like a signal service or something because I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Coco, what about that instant ICO? That guy who invented it was genius of evil. I've never heard of that. Bubble Bash says get the new ledger. It's water resistant. The ledger nano S can't get wet. Yeah, okay. That sounds good. How much is that new ledger? I heard it's pretty a little pricey. Will altcoins bounce back soon or go down in a few days? Um, it to me it totally depends on what Bitcoin does. If Bitcoin goes ripping up, I think people are going to totally reposition their holdings. Um, if Bitcoin hits about 1,800, 2,000, people are definitely going to sell off their altcoins. For now, I think that people are going to continue to use these pullbacks in cryptocurrency and altcoins as a means to buy. I'm a long time list holder. I saw one of your videos. You think it might rise. You still think? I expect a good bump soon. Lisk is getting ready for their full launch. Lisk has the potential to go up pretty high just because it's uh, Java based, and the Java community is very big. Java is one of the main languages. So Lisk does have that going for itself. Yeah, I can't necessarily tell you what altcoins I think are gonna pump, because even if I'm wrong, it could create somewhat of a pump just because I said that that altcoin is gonna pump, and you go and buy a boatload of it. So that would be you pumping it because you listening to me. You know what I'm saying? There's no official date for the Lisk launch yet. Mr. Lowbottom says, which altcoin has an actual use case? Um, in theory, multiple altcoins have actual use cases. Do they do what it is that they are set out to do? Most of them, no. Even Ethereum. Ethereum is supposed to be this decentralized computer, and 95% of the use case for Ethereum is just to make other coins. So right at this current moment, no. What does the Alcifa show says? What do ICO stands for? ICO stands for initial coin offering. Just like stocks have IPOs, initial public offerings, um, altcoins, when they're launched or before they're launched, they have something called an initial coin offering. This is when you can buy the altcoin for typically a price that will be a cheaper than the launch price. Not all the time, though. Ali says, am I holding alts at the moment or fully in Bitcoin? I do have alts at the moment, and I do have Bitcoin. Unstoppable says, do I use any hardware wallets? Yes, I have a white Trezor. Um, I've been in Bitcoin for 2.5 years now, and the first week that I bought a Bitcoin, my first Bitcoin I bought was $210. When I bought a Bitcoin, 2 days later I bought a Trezor because I was doing research. I was watching all these YouTube videos, and I just stumbled upon something that said the Bitcoin safe. And that was my biggest skepticism of Bitcoin. Like, okay, it's digital. What's going to stop anyone from just taking it from me? So once, I heard the Bitcoin safe, that was their thing. And I bought a Trezor the same week that I bought my first Bitcoin. That was 2.5 years ago. What is my prediction on ETC? I think ETC will continue to go up as long as Ethereum continues to go up, because the more pricey Ethereum becomes, the more Ethereum Classic is going to be considered. Yes, I have a Trezor, but I don't want to make this one too long, guys. So send those questions out. Let's get them answered, and then we're gonna call this one, because yesterday's video was an hour. That was way too long. I want people to be able to watch this, on their way to work, coming home real quick or whatever. I don't want to drag them out. Will you keep your alts even if Bitcoin goes to 2,000? the way that I've structured my holdings, the amount of Bitcoin that I have, I am perfectly content with that. The amount of Bitcoin that I've invested into altcoins, I am also content with holding that as well. So if Bitcoin goes to 2,000, yes, I will still hold the alts that I have. Yes, most of them, yes. Do you agree with Ripple Coin? Do I agree with Ripple Coin practice by working with banks? Somebody's going to have to work with the banks. In cryptocurrency, there's a lot of anarchist or anti-government people. I do think the government does some messed up things, but we have to be realists. And in my opinion, the banks aren't going anywhere. If anything, the banks are going to adopt Bitcoin blockchain technology, and they're going to use it to make even more money. So one of these cryptocurrencies or somebody is going to make a blockchain for the banks, and Ripple is stepping up and doing it. So more power to them. Somebody's got to do it. Steve says, what are the similarities and differences between trading Forex and cryptocurrencies? One of the similarities is how far cryptocurrencies go behind the decimal point. All right, cryptocurrencies go to about 8 behind the decimal point. When you're trading Forex, you're trading in pips. Pips are you're trading in pips and in micro pips. So you can go up to 5 places behind the decimal. So that's one of the similarities. Another similarity of trading Forex and cryptocurrencies, they're both very profitable. If you mean trading style, if you have a solid trading style, you can trade any market. It does not matter. James says, when I want to cash out, I'm not cashing out my Bitcoin, James. Cut it out. Cut it out, man. Kevin Hicks says, what's good? What's good, Kevin? I'm not cashing out my Bitcoin, James. Cut it out, man. But yeah, for those of you who want to take my one-on-one cryptocurrency trading course, I've just gotten a lot of new students. I've trained students from as young as 17 years old. I haven't trained any females yet, but I have been getting a lot of inquiries from females lately. But I haven't trained any females yet. But I've trained a lot of people as young as 17 years old. My trading style is very simple to understand and to put into practice. If you want to take that, it's one-on-one via Skype. I sit down with you, 2-hour sessions, and I break down trading in detail, give you lots of examples, lots of visuals. For beginners or for people who've been trading for some time but can't seem to become profitable. If you want to take that one-on-one trading course, please email me, chasethatcoin@gmail.com. Yeah. And Chase That Coin family, once again, another successful episode. We almost got 50 viewers in there. Shout out to you all. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and Keep chasing that coin, ladies and gentlemen.